Welcome to the Rustic Songbird podcast. I'm your host, Lydia Walker, and if you're a songwriter who's ready to take your music to the next level, this show is for you. Today's show is episode number 33, and this is my first solo show called How to Fund Your Passion. Once you've already found your passion, how do you fund it? We're going to talk all about that on today's episode. Before we jump into today's topic, I wanted to let you know that you're invited to the first ever creative songwriting workshop. This is a 2-hour online video training hosted by me for you to learn how to make time for your songwriting, how to write with or without inspiration, whether you have too many ideas or no ideas. Also, we'll be covering how to gain confidence as a songwriter. There will also be a Q&A, and this is a great opportunity for you to get your questions answered. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. For all the details, go to rusticsongbird.com/workshop. Again, that's rusticsongbird.com/workshop. See you there. Welcome to the show today. I am changing things up, and today it's just you and me. We're talking about how to fund your passion. Have you ever thought I would record my songs if I had more money? I recently asked another songwriter friend what was holding her back from recording her music and putting it out there. She said, yeah, if I was rich, I would do it right now. Have you ever felt that way? There are millions of resources out there about finding your passion and figuring out your calling, and those can be helpful for gaining clarity on what you love to do. In fact, knowing your goals is the first step to achieving them. We'll talk about that a little later. But once you know what your passion is, how do you fund it? On today's episode, we're going to talk about how to fund your passion, specifically for those who have a calling for making music, but it can apply to other passions as well. Once you know what your passion is, you might quickly figure out that it takes money to keep it going. If you're just starting out or trying to gain traction, it may not be bringing in enough money to live off of by exclusively living your passion. So let's talk about some practical and maybe unconventional ways that you can fund your passion when you're just getting started or when you just need the extra cash for your next project. You might be thinking, where do you even start? Don't worry, I've got you covered. First, it's important to know where you are and what your goals are. Asking yourself those questions and really defining that for yourself will give you so much clarity on how to get there. Another great question to ask is, how much money do you really need? You might say, if only I had $1 million, but you'd be surprised at how much you can accomplish for way less than you think. A couple $1,000s could change most people's lives. So don't be afraid to start small. When you're in it for your passion, it's a long-term commitment. And many times the money and the time you put in at the beginning is an investment into your future. Ask yourself what your goal is. For example, if you're a songwriter and you want to record a whole album in a professional studio, you can get a quote for how much it would cost to produce a 10 or 12 track CD, and that's your number. Once you have a number in mind, you can work back from there and figure out how much you need to save, earn, or potentially raise depending on the situation. In today's show, I'm going to share with you 10 different ways to fund your passion, and even if one of these ways helps you get moving with your next project, it'll be so worth it. Let's dive on in. The 10 ways fall into 3 categories: saving, earning, and raising funds for your passion project. Of course, there are many possibilities, and this is not an exhaustive list. It's simply a tool to help point you in the right direction and help you figure out your next step. Are you taking notes? Because it's about to get real good. Let's get started. Number 1, you can save money by using free options or equipment you already own or have access to. With some resourcefulness, sometimes figuring out how to get closer to your goals is right under your nose. In our recording example, you could use a free recording software on a computer to make your own demos, or to have some recordings to put out online and promote your music, build your fan base. That way you're making music in the meantime while you plan for a better recording in the future. You can also save money by trading your time, skills, or expertise with someone who can help you move toward your goals. When I was getting started recording my own songs, I traded singing some background vocals for studio time. This wouldn't have to be related to your goal. You could trade babysitting or house cleaning or whatever you can leverage that would be a win-win. So get creative. Number 3, the next step in saving is to spend less. Yep, I said it. You don't have to rely on more income if you rearrange your budget and save a little each month towards your project or goal. I just did this with my last recording project. I found out how much it would cost to record a 5-song project and set aside a certain amount per month in a separate bank account designated for that project. Out of sight, out of mind. Then when it came time to record, about a year later, it was fully funded and the money was there. Yes, I had to say no to some other things I could have spent it on, but knowing that it was going to pay off in the long run helped me stick to the plan. If you look through your monthly expenses, decide what you could shave off to set aside each month. Maybe there are some subscriptions you might be paying for each month that you don't even use anymore or forgot about. There's so much freedom in knowing where your money is going, so you can control where you want it to go. Makes sense, right? I know that's been a struggle for me in the past, and for many creatives, crunching the numbers is not our natural tendency. We tend to fly by the seat of our pants and hope for the best. But this is my challenge to you, to take a good look at your bank account and figure out where that money can be saved. You've got this. Number 4, on to our next category, how you can earn money to fund your passion project. If saving some of your current income is a stretch, it's time to think outside the box. Like we looked at our monthly expenses, now look at your available time each month. How much time could you get back from less social media, less TV, and spend it taking up a part-time job? When you know how much time is available in your schedule, you can make realistic decisions about getting a part-time job. Again, babysitting or house cleaning or whatever opportunities are available or come to mind. My first job was part-time at a screen printing shop for 6 hours a week. When things weren't as busy with my music, I took up a barista job making coffee till I got fired and was told to stick to music. That's a story for another day. If you're wondering what kind of part-time jobs there are, let me encourage you that there's always work to be done and people that are hiring. Ask around and look at what's available and just go for it. I believe there's enough to go around. Number 5, the next way you can earn money for your project is to start a side hustle. This is personally my favorite and can look a lot of different ways. You might have or create a small business or hobby that can bring in money on the side other than your day job that pays the bills. What would it look like to spend a few hours on the nights or weekends you have off to make extra money that goes to your project? I personally know many musicians and songwriters that fund their music, recording, production costs by having a side business that has nothing to do with music. They might be in real estate or have a gift for crafting and sell them online or at craft fairs on the weekends. I like a good side hustle, and I'd love to hear from you if you're using this approach. It's totally doable and just takes the time to set up and actually do the work. Bonus points for creating a, quote, passive income stream with a side hustle. We can talk about that in a future episode if you're interested, so let me know if that's something you'd like to pursue. Number 6, another way you can earn is to sell anything that you're not using anymore. We all have too much stuff, and a good decluttering makes me feel so much more spacious in my home and in my life. I went through a purge of stuff in my house when I was nesting before our second baby was born. I listed stuff on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, the Let Go app, and sold in a local consignment sale. My fave is to sell on eBay because I can print the shipping labels from my house and drop it in the mailbox. Facebook Marketplace is great for bigger items like furniture and things that would be too expensive to ship. It's hit or miss, but I've sold lots of things on there and it's a good option. So do some cleaning out and figure out what you can sell to make some extra cash. Cha-ching! Number 7, while we're talking about earning, I want to encourage you that you can make money with your passion project. If you're a songwriter and you're performing at concerts or events, there are opportunities to get paid for singing. For me, I've led worship for my church, and I've also filled in for other worship leaders when they're out of town. That's been a big need in our community and kept me busy every Sunday for a while before I was the regular leader at our current church plant. I want to encourage you that you are worth being paid, and you should charge what you're worth. Whenever possible, ask for what you think is a fair rate, and you'd be surprised that people will accommodate that. You can always negotiate down if it doesn't fit in their budget, but start high so you have some wiggle room. I think women in general have a harder time charging what we're worth, and that's something I'm still learning. But I want to give the permission, even though you don't need my permission, to ask. Ask for what you're worth. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. If you'd like me to cover more on this topic in a future episode, we can dive a little deeper. For now, just know that you should get paid well for your music, and there are plenty of opportunities for events and venues that have an entertainment budget. Do some Googling and make some phone calls and get it on the calendar. And don't be afraid to ask to be paid. Number 8, moving right along, we are moving to the third category, which is how you can raise money to help pay for your project. The first way we're going to talk about to raise money is crowdfunding. You may have heard of Kickstarter.com or GoFundMe.com. There are several great sites and platforms for your audience, family, and friends to donate or support your mission. You can start an account and explain your goals and how they can help, then share it on your social media and at your gigs. I personally had a failed Kickstarter campaign a while back where it was all or nothing and we didn't meet our goal. It worked out though, and I reevaluated the budget, did a simpler project, and some of the people who pledged still donated. I would promote it totally different if I were to do it again. But I've had some friends that have done successful Kickstarter campaigns that kept it simple and promoted it well. So that's a great option if you're looking to the crowdfunding route. Bonus tip, you can also use crowdfunding platforms to allow your supporters to pre-order your CD and help cover the initial recording and production costs. They could be the first ones to get a copy and maybe offer some other rewards for helping you get your project off the ground. Number 9, you can raise money with a monthly support group like Patreon.com, Patreon, Patreon, where subscribers can set up a monthly donation in return for special content or behind the scenes or other perks reserved for your backers. This is great if you're creating consistent content like a blog, videos on YouTube, a podcast, or releasing new music regularly. People that love what you're doing can be a part of it and go along the journey with you. Definitely something to check out for small or big audiences. And here we are at number 10. Another way to raise money is to send a good old-fashioned support letter, explaining what your goal is and how people can help. Believe it or not, people still read snail mail and especially notice if it's handwritten and personal. So those who have known you for a long time, like grandparents or family friends, will likely want to help you succeed but may not be tech savvy to set up donations online. My granddad just got PayPal, and I explained to him how to set it up and that it was a secure way to pay for things online. But some people will still prefer to cut a check or give you cash, and that's a great way to collect funds for something you believe in and to include the folks who may not see your posts online. So to recap, let's go through the 10 ways you can fund your passion. You can save money by using free options. Save money by trading your time, skills, or expertise. You can save money by spending less, literally saving your money. And how you can earn money by taking up a part-time job, starting a side hustle, sell anything that you're not using anymore. And then earning money to help fund your music or your passion project. You can make money by doing that project and it builds over time. You can use that crowdfunding option or monthly support group or a good old-fashioned support letter. I want to share, before we wrap up, some action steps for you to take. I know that was a lot of information, but you can always go back and listen again. And I've also created a free PDF with the list from this episode for how to fund your passion for making music. You can go to rusticsongbird.com/fund your passion to download the list and a special little thank you note from me. So go to rusticsongbird.com/fund your passion. Here are some action steps I want you to take. I want to challenge you to make a plan, break it down into simple steps, commit, and follow through. That's what it takes to reach your goals, and it's totally doable. If you can dream it, it can happen. So dream big and don't give up. Here are some next level action steps. When you're on the journey of creating and living your passion, it's important to invest in your education. Here's what I mean by that. Read books, listen to podcasts, ask questions, take courses to boost your knowledge and skills. I believe that we all have something to learn, and the older I get, the more I realize I don't know. So I've committed to constant learning and looking to those who have gone before me and glean from their wisdom. I encourage you to do the same. It will save you so much time to learn from others' mistakes and successes. Don't forget to download the free PDF that I've created with the list from this episode. Again, it's rusticsongbird.com/fund your passion to download the whole list. Even if one of these things helps you, it's totally worth it. Just a reminder that you're invited to the very first creative songwriting workshop that I'm hosting. It's coming up soon, so make sure to get on the list. This is a 2-hour online video training for you to learn how to make time for your songwriting, how to write with or without inspiration, whether you have too many ideas or no ideas, and also how to gain confidence as a songwriter. There will also be a Q&A, so you don't want to miss this. For all the details, go to rusticsongbird.com/workshop. That's rusticsongbird.com/workshop. Save your seat now, and I'll see you there. Thanks for listening to the Rustic Songbird podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and review this podcast wherever you're tuning in from. Thank you so much. It really does make a big difference. Till next time.